All right, so today we're going to be calculating the volume and then the density of a cube. Yesterday we did some two-step problems where you had to first determine the volume of a object using displacement, and then second, use that volume to calculate density. What I saw is that many of y'all did not like to do two-step problems, and as a result, many of y'all did not pass the quiz. Most problems in life take more than one step. All right, today you're going to have multiple step problems. First thing is I'm going to do the first couple problems with you. You need to write down everything in your spiral that I am writing down, and some of it's going to be off the slide. And then you can use that as an example to finish the other problems. So let's have some fun. Nothing like solving the density of a cube on a Friday. Sounds like fun, right? Okay, so everybody should have their science spiral out. You need to write down everything that I'm writing down. That way you can use it as an example. Actually, I probably shouldn't be using that. I'll be using this. Let me kind of clean up my last class. Oops, let me do that. Okay, so share my screen with you. All right, you're already looking at that, right? Okay, so problem number one, we have a cube that has the dimensions of 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters by 4 centimeters. The cube has a mass of 30.96 grams. We need to first solve for the volume of the cube, and then we need to solve for the density of the cube. The first thing we need to do is solve for volume. So going to my whiteboard here, let's go ahead and solve for volume. This is what you need to write down. All right, so first thing, everybody draw a cube. Actually, start over. So everybody needs to draw a cube. All right, this cube has a dimension of 3 centimeters by 2 centimeters by 4 centimeters. You can enter these in the calculator any way you want. It will always come out the same. In other words, 3 times 2 times 4 is the same thing as 2 times 4 times 3. Go ahead and write your formula. Volume is equal to length times width times height. However, instead of writing that, we're going to put in the numbers. So volume is equal to 3 centimeters times 2 centimeters times 4 centimeters is equal to 3 times 2 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24. 24 what? 24 centimeters cubed. That is the volume of that cube. Okay? So then going back over to the slideshow, you're going to continue to write this. So basically we just did the first part, so you don't have to write that. And we determined that was 24 centimeters cubed. Why is that so tiny all of a sudden? I know why. 24 centimeters cubed. All right. So then from there, now let's write the formula for density. Go ahead and write the formula in your science spiral. Go ahead and write density is equal to mass divided by volume. Go ahead and write it, Lucas. So density is equal to mass divided by volume. What is my mass? It is 30.96 grams. And where did I get that? I got that from right here. It was given to us in the problem. So 30.96 grams. What is the volume? Well, that's what we solved for with the cube. The volume is 24.24 centimeters cubed, or 24. Y'all have calculators. What is 30.96 divided by 24? Let me know for those of y'all that have calculators.
$1.29.
1.29. Very good. 1.29. Let me get this corrected. There you go. 1.29. 1.29. What grams per centimeter cubed? That is our density. Okay, 1.29 grams per centimeter cubes is the density of that cube. Now coming over to our density table, what element did we just, or what material I should say, did we just identify? Silicone, very good. You'll notice right here, silicone has a density of 1.29. I came over here and I wrote SI for silicon, so go ahead and write substance is equal to, so right here, write substance is equal to SI, or you can write the word silicone. All right, you should remember from our study of the periodic table that silicone, first of all, is a metalloid. It's on the stair step, which means that it has some of the properties of metals and some of the properties of non-metals. So silicon is shiny like a piece of metal. However, it's brittle like a non-metal. And it is a semiconductor. It sometimes conducts electricity. Okay, in your notebook, let me go ahead and delete this so I don't forget next class. In your notebook, go ahead and write number 2. Let's do the second problem. That's easy, right? Easy? It is easy if you show your work. If you don't show your work, it's going to be hard. All right, moving on to number 2. Go ahead and write number 2. First thing I want you to do is go ahead and draw this cube and label it 3, 10, and 2. So let's go over to my whiteboard. If you don't know how to draw a cube, you can just draw a square. Okay, so cube number 2. All right, this cube has 3 centimeters for one side, 2 centimeters for the other, and I'm going to put 10 centimeters as the height. Again, it doesn't matter what order you put in your calculator, you'll get the same answer. Let's go ahead and write the formula. Volume is equal to my length, which is 3, times my width, which is 2, times my height, which is 10. 3 times 2 is 6, and 6 times 10 is 60. 60 what? 60 centimeters cubed. Very good. All right, 60 centimeters cubed. Give you all a couple seconds to get caught up. Okay, so going over to the screen, let's finish the problem. Okay, so 60 centimeters cubed was our answer. So we already did this part. Moving on to the second part. Everybody write your formula for density. Density is equal to mass divided by volume. Everybody go ahead and write that down. Always write your formula first. Now let's fill that in. Our mass is up here. They gave it to us in the problem. 373.8. Everybody should have a calculator. I would hate to be doing this without a calculator. So 378 divided by what? By 60.
6.23.
Okay, gives you 6.23. 6.23. 6.23 what? 6.23 grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, 6.23 grams per centimeter cubed. And I come over here, let's look at our density table. What has a density of 6.23? Copper, okay? So I came over here, instead of writing the word copper, I wrote the symbol for copper, which is Cu, the chemical symbol. And from our study, you should know that copper is a metal because it's on the metal side of the periodic table, which means it has high luster, it is malleable, it is ductile, and it's a good conductor of electricity. But that's beside the point. Easy, right? As long as you do your 3 steps. First, solve for volume, writing down all your work. Second, write down your formula for density and solve for density. And then third, find the unknown substance. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So what you have, you only have to work 3 problems, but those 3 problems have 10 answers because what we did is we asked a question about each part of that. Let me delete that for our next class. Okay, so going to today's work. We are on third period. Okay, going down to Friday. Which, by the way, on today's assignment, for some reason, when you submit it, it is for a grade, but it does not give you a grade right away. For some reason, the first 2 classes has taken over 5 minutes for the grades to come through. It's going to tell you like 0 out of 100 or something like that. Just ignore it. It's, I don't know what's going on with it. Okay, so here it is. And if you show all your work first, before you try to answer it, it is easy. All right, so let me show you what I mean by that. And this is another thing that's going on today. It's not opening right away. I don't know why. Preview, there it is. Okay, so here's the box. Here's the density. The density is right there. Okay. So first thing is solve for volume. Look at your notes that you just took. Volume is equal to length times width times height. So 2 times 25 times 3, you would write that all down here, solve for volume. Then density is equal to mass divided by volume. Make sure you write it down. Then your substance is going to be found down here. These right here are ranges. So this oak is between 0.6 and 0.95. I think I tried to choose all of them that weren't within a range, but I don't actually, anyways. So first, solve the volume, the density of the substance. Then, number one, what is it asking for? What is the volume? Okay, I would not do this step until you have answered to all three of these, because that is question number one, question number two, and question number three. So question number one, what is the volume? Choose the volume. I just chose a random number. Number two, what is the density? Well, you should already have your answer, so you don't have to do any work, because you already solved it before you got here. Okay, well, there's my density. Moving on next. What is the substance? So then I come to my table, and I look for the substance. Okay? That is basically 1, 2, and 3 is basically problem number one. You just solved one problem, but there was three answers you had to give for problem number one. Then I go on, and here's problem number two. Here's my new cube. I would solve the volume, density, and substance before I even answer the question. Yes, Darian.
I just looked at what we were doing. So does it not have like a notepad? Because usually on the quizzes like this, it would have like a notepad, but I don't see.
I guess I didn't add that feature.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay, that's what we're doing. If you show all your work, in other words, what I'm asking you to do is do it in your notebook. Okay, if you don't do it in your notebook, you're going to have problems. You're not going to pass. You're going to get confused. If you look at the two problems we just did in your notebook and use your notebook, you should not have a problem. Okay, basically work out the volume, the density, the substance first, and then answer the three questions. Okay? All right, and that's it. Go ahead and that looks like a lot of fun for a Friday, right?
Yep.
Okay, let's have some fun.